Now, as Aleppo lies in ruins, President-elect Donald Trump promising those safe zones to help refugees living in the middle of that nightmare, those who have survived so far anyway. Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger out of Illinois, pilot in the Air National Guard. Sir, good day to you. We talked about safe zones during the election. It came up last night. Did that surprise you? Is that something that would work in a new administration now?
I think it's going to have to happen. I mean, you know, you look at, obviously, the human tragedy, that's one thing. You look at the political implications. So you have this mass migration that's been coming out of the Middle East into Europe and destabilizing it. You have this, like, clash of cultures that's going on, and it's only going to continue to get worse. And so I think Donald Trump is realizing the importance of having to do something. He's probably not talking about going as far as, for instance, I would like to go, but the safe zone is a big start. And the fact is this, even with the fall of Aleppo, this is not going to burn itself out. It's not going to end. The civil war is going to continue, and it could continue, frankly, for, we could be talking a decade and a half.
5 years on. What do you mean not as far as you'd like to go? How far would you go?
Well, I think what ultimately needs to happen is, in order to get a ceasefire, an enforceable ceasefire, you have to have a stick behind it. And this is where Secretary of State Kerry, President Obama have utterly failed, as they keep trying to sue for peace, but they don't have a stick. So, hey, let's have a ceasefire, but if you violate it, the repercussions are strikes against the regime. It doesn't mean you start war. What it means is you can enforce a ceasefire. So I hope, you know, President-elect Trump, when he gets in there, says, let's do everything we can to stop this. I don't know, but the safe zones is a very good start, and I think a necessary first step to fixing this problem.
There has been a lot of talk between Washington and Moscow. John Kerry said this yesterday.
The Assad regime is actually carrying out nothing short of a massacre. And we have witnessed indiscriminate slaughter, not accidents of war, not collateral damage, but frankly purposeful, a cynical policy of terrorizing civilians.
And that's a strong statement, but again, when I mentioned words, you gave a chuckle.
Yeah, I mean, this is all it is words. You know, Mr. Secretary, are we going to go back to the table again so that the Russians and Assad can stall while they make gains on the ground and pretend like they're interested in a ceasefire and then violate that ceasefire, and then we go back to the table because we want another ceasefire again? I mean, you have to back this up with some kind of enforceable action. And, you know, from what I understand, to Secretary Kerry's credit, he's actually advocated behind the scenes for strikes. It's President Obama that's too worried about upsetting the delicate deal with Iran right now and upsetting the Russians. By the way, the Russians have an economy the size of Italy. This isn't the old Soviet Union. This is an economy the size of Italy dictating world policy because President Obama's frankly too worried to push back. So I'm excited about President-elect Trump regaining the narrative and the momentum for our country.
So we wait until the 20th of January until something changes. Quickly on another topic, have you seen evidence of Russian hacking?
No, I mean, I haven't seen the evidence, and what I can't share. You know, the intelligence agencies say they believe the Russians were.
Do you believe it then, based on what you've seen, without describing?
I believe that the Russians were involved to an extent. The question is, what's the end result? And it goes a way bridge too far to say right now that they did it for Trump or that it elected Trump president. I think Trump was elected overwhelmingly president by, you know, the vast majority of electors in the country, and to delegitimize that is wrong. But we do need to know if the Russians attempted to have any involvement, and that should be a bipartisan issue that doesn't question the legitimacy of President-elect Trump.
Thank you for your time. Adam Kinzinger, Republican.